Hello, my name is Michael Timmons, and I am the author of the Lycan War Saga and the Shards of the Covenant series, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a bit since I posted a video, but I've been hard at work at finishing the second book of my Shards of the Covenant series, Starfall, which should launch within a month or so. As I said, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss starting your own Kickstarter campaign to help with publishing your book. But first, I would love it if you would click the like button and the notification bell, and maybe even comment down below if you have any questions about how to start your own campaign. Okay, let's get started. First of all, the question you should be asking yourself is, Kickstarter right for me? The answer should be yes. There are very few authors who can't benefit from a Kickstarter campaign. That being said, Kickstarter is not a put up and forget it proposition. Like many aspects of publishing, you will need to be an active participant if you want this to be successful. So, if you are not prepared to put the legwork in necessary to make it successful, it might not be for you. If you are prepared to do the work, then let's go. First, you need to figure out your goal. What are you looking at to get help with? What aspect of your publishing steps need outside support? As an independent author, you know that many aspects of publishing aren't cheap. From cover art, hiring an editor, or getting an audiobook produced. None of these things are cheap. So knowing what you need help with can make it easier to convey to possible supporters what you need and why. Second, how much are you going to need? Cover artist is going to charge you $500 for a cover, then you need $500. Audiobook is going to cost you $100 to get produced, $1,000, then you're going to need $1,000. Know what you need monetarily to finish your job. Third, how much are you going to ask? Now, I bet you thought that was kind of what I got at when I did step 2. That's what you need, so that's how much you're going to ask. No, not always the case. Sometimes it is. For many authors, that's the goal that they want to set. But it might not be. This is how Kickstarter works. You need to fully fund your campaign in order to get the money. So, if you ask for $1,000 and you only get $700, then your campaign is not fully funded and you don't get the money. So you need to be realistic. Much of this has to do with your fan base and also how much excitement you can produce around your campaign. There are hundreds of campaigns out there for books that have received thousands of dollars in support. So it is possible. You just need to be realistic in how much support you think you can drum up. Like I said before, you can't just start a Kickstarter campaign, let it go, and hope for the best. You have to work for it. Fourth, figure out your pledge levels. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with how Kickstarter works, I will explain. Most Kickstarter campaigns have pledge levels. How this works is you set up a pledge level. Let's say for $10, they will get a copy of your ebook. For $20, they will get a copy of your paperback. Then for $30, they will get a copy of your paperback, a bookmark, and maybe mention in your special thanks section in your book. These levels can offer a variety of things at varying prices. The idea is that you want to offer your pledgers something of value for their pledge. This is not like GoFundMe, where all they do is give you money. The way I explain it to most people is that they are basically just paying for the product in advance. There's no limit to how many pledge levels you can offer, but it is better to keep it concise and your levels have some value. And lastly, figure out if you will have any stretch goals. Stretch goals are basically what you will offer if the amount of funding exceeds your campaign goal. There are fun little add-ons you can offer to those who might want to keep your pledging for more money even though the goal has already been reached. Your goal was to help publishing your paperback. Well, you can make your stretch goal a limited edition hardback copy. So basically, let's say your goal was $1,000. You exceed your $1,000, and you can say, okay, now for an additional $500, so $1,500 total, you will give everybody from certain level up a special edition hardback cover or hardback book. See what I'm saying? Or maybe the audiobook. You can use that extra money to help get your audiobook produced. You figure out what you need, what you want to do. That's the important thing. Get your goal, figure out your stretch goals, and then you can move forward with your Kickstarter campaign. So, that's the basics on starting a Kickstarter campaign. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through my own Kickstarter campaign, just the beginning parts of it, and show you how I'm about to do, I should say, my own Kickstarter campaign. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to walk you through doing your Kickstarter campaign by showing you me doing my own Kickstarter campaign. So, right here we have is the homepage for Kickstarter. It may look like this. It may look a little bit different. I came in this from I was already in the app. I just clicked on the Kickstarter head up here, and this is what it took me to. So it may look a little different on your screen, but basically, this is the Kickstarter app. So what you want to do is you're going to go over here. You're going to hit Start a Project. So you click that, and it's going to take you here, and then once again, Start a Project. Now, I've already done this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually leave this screen. I'm going to pop over to my own Kickstarter campaign. Here we go. So, basically this is what the opening page of your Kickstarter campaign is going to look like. So right here, obviously, start with the basics. There's basics, rewards, story, people, payment, promotion. Those are your 6 tabs up here that you're going to work through as you work towards doing your Kickstarter campaign. Obviously, step 1, project title. Now, like anything else, your book title, the first line in your blurb, all of these things need to draw attention to them. You need to be creative. Come up with something funny or come up with something that catches the eye. Anything like that. Now, basically, what I'm doing for my Kickstarter campaign is 5 years ago, I released my first book of the Like a War Saga, The Awakening Part 1, followed by The Awakening Part 2. And then later I would release the second book, The Gathering. So what I decided to do is for the 5th year anniversary, I wanted to redo all the covers for the first two books essentially. And as I start working on my third book, the third and final book of that this year, I wanted to have a cover ready for that. So basically I'm looking at getting 3 covers done for my book series. Now the artist that I use, Jeff Brown, is an amazing artist, really great. He's not cheap because he does good work. So in order to pay for that, I decided that I would do a Kickstarter campaign because I can't just pay for it out of my own money. I don't have that much money. So I had to come up with a title. I decided to use the title Reimagining the Lycan War Saga, because that's basically what I'm doing. I'm basically rebranding, reimagining. I'm giving a whole new look to it. I love the first cover that I did. It's actually behind me. You can see it there, part of it. I love that cover. I really do like the cover of the second book. I wasn't happy necessarily with part 2 of The Awakening, the first book, this cover. But what I'm doing is I'm actually combining part 1 and part 2 and just making it into a single book for the reimagining. So I'm not going to have the first book broken into 2 books. It's going to be The Awakening Part 1, The Awakening, The Gathering, and then The War. So it's just going to be 3 books. That's it. So, as you see, title, Reimagining the Lycan War Saga. And obviously the subtitle is a little bit of description, creative new cover art for the entire Lycan War Saga. Now they have project category, that's the next step. Obviously, publishing, what we're doing, and fiction. There's a bunch of different stuff. There's art, there's comics, crafts, design, film and video, journalism, photography, technology, just a bunch of different ones that you can choose from. If you're not doing it for your book, maybe you're doing it from coming at it from a different style. So, there's a lot of options here. And then they have a secondary category, primary subcategory. Obviously, I put fiction, but there's children's books, there's calendars, you have art books, anthologies, poetry, young adult. But there wasn't anything in here that has, for some reason, they don't have fantasy as a title, as a subcategory. So you want to put that somewhere in. Obviously, you're gonna want to mention that somewhere in your Kickstarter if you have a fantasy, or if you have something that's not on here, so that when people look for it, when they do a search, and they look for fantasy books, that way your book will come up. Okay. Project location. I live in Savannah, Ohio. You can put your own location in there. The only reason I would suggest doing this, you can leave it blank. You don't have to fill it out. The only reason I suggest doing this is that maybe somebody in your area or in your state or in your country, whatever, will be going through Kickstarter and say, "Oh my gosh, these people are from Ohio. I live in Ohio. You know what? I'm gonna pledge them some money because I want to support fellow Ohioans." Or hey, I live in Savannah and I want to support people who live in my hometown. Any aspect you can use to try to get pledges, use it. Now, project image. Obviously, I did this on Canva. I put this together not too long ago. Just plopped it up there. You want to obviously make something that's eye-catching, and also just represents your project. This is also, I had a book trailer put together so that I can have this. This usually shows up at the very top of a Kickstarter campaign, so this is something that they can put on. I just wanted to have this here. I'm not sure if I'm going to completely use this. I might use that and also put a little, not necessarily voiceover, but a little add-on of me talking about my series on there. Now, funding goal. I put $3,500 as my funding goal. I haven't quite decided on if that's going to be what I stick with, because actually I need more than that. But as I said in my video earlier, in the video, you want to be reasonable. Technically, I need about $4,200 to actually pay for all the cover art, but I'm not sure if I'll reach that goal. So I wanted to drop it down a little bit. Like I said, I haven't quite made a final decision on that. I might bump it up to what I have and hope for the best. I can always, if it is not successful, I can always drop it down and rerun it again and see if I can get the same thing. Target launch date. Right now I've been kind of going back and forth with this. I have it at 9/13. This is giving me some time to get the news out there that I'm starting one, start posting on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. LinkedIn is a great one to do for these type of things. My newsletter. That way I can, get it out there that I'm doing it. I might shorten this up. Like I said, I've really been trying to get finished with publishing the book 2 of the Shards of the Covenant series. So I'm trying to get that in a place where I can just kind of leave it alone and let it run, let the ball start rolling on that, and I don't have to be so involved in the process at that point, and then I can turn my goal, my focus on doing this. Now, the campaign duration. It recommends, it'll tell you that most campaigns, the most successful campaigns run about 30 days. I put 45 because you can go up to 60, but I didn't want to do 60. I wanted to make it a little shorter than 60, but because I'm asking for a decent amount, I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to reach that goal. So you can go with the 30 days, you can go with less, you can go with 20 days, or you can go up to 60, but they recommend 30 days. So we're going to save that, and then we're going to go to the next screen, which is rewards. Okay, now I've already done a few of these. I started them just to give you an idea. So what I did, and this is pretty customary for most Kickstarter campaigns that I have seen, is they usually have their first pledge amount as basically a just because. So, if they just want to give money just to help out, they don't want anything for it, because there are a lot of people that just do that. They go through Kickstarter, they like to help artists create, and so they'll just give you money. So you want to have that as an option. That way, it's basically, in this way, it's kind of like GoFundMe, because it's basically you're getting something for nothing. But there are people out there who just want to help out, and I had my first one at $10. That's not that much, to ask for, $10. Now, the second one I did, actually, I'm going to change this. I'm going to edit this because I want to change this amount, because the first one is $10. So I'm going to actually make this 15. Now, and this is the reward setup. So you have your title, and a lot of people will do a title name, I guess is the best way to explain it. So, they'll have like copper, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, those type of levels. Or, I've seen a lot of fantasy ones. They do like squire, or a page, squire, knight, king, queen, that type of thing. Obviously, mine has to do with were creatures and lichens, so I've kind of decided to stick on that theme. So like this one level is lichen, because in my book there are actually different levels of were creatures. Lichen is the lowest one. That is actually, just a quick explanation, basically that is someone who has been turned into a were creature by someone else who has also been turned into a were creature. So you have your true lichens, so the first ones, and anyone that they infect with lycanthropy are pures, and anyone that pures infect are lichens. So we have lichens, we have pures, and we have trues. So I have three mainline bases. So I'm going to work those in as tier levels in the pledges. So obviously it asks for any description. So you just give a brief description of what you're going to offer. You can also can do this as a list. So you can add, instead of doing it as a description, you can just do it as a list. Your contents, they ask if they're physical goods. So let's say you're going to send them a paperback book, then you would click yes. In this case, it's ebooks, so it's no, only digital services. And shipping, since it's not a physical reward, it's digital shipping, so there's no shipping involved. So, and you can ship to anywhere in the world. You can ship to certain countries, or you can even have them pick up locally if they want. Not, I would guess that not too many people use this, but maybe there is. Now, estimated delivery, I have given obviously plenty of time for this as December 2023. I might, because I, in this one, since it's any two of the ebooks, and if they want the third book, which I haven't written yet, I wanted to give myself plenty of time to do that. I might actually push this back a little bit because, I'm going to start writing that book this year, and the chances of me finishing it by December of next year are sketchy at best. It's possible, but I don't know. And then you can put a quantity limit. So in this particular case, I went with unlimited, but you can have a limited quantity. Like, let's say, like I said before, you want to do a certain number of hardbacks. Obviously, those are a little bit more expensive than paperback, and you don't want to make a bunch of them. So, because a lot of times you have to ask for a certain number, so you want to make it limited. And also, this creates excitement for that particular pledge. So, if let's say you have a top tier level pledge, which most people do limit it on top tier. That creates excitement. They're like, ooh, there's only 2 people that can pledge this amount. I want to do this, and they pledge that amount. So it's something to think about. Or let's say, like for what I did with my last Kickstarter campaign, I did this thing where basically somebody could name a character in a future book. So, I didn't want to have too many people come up with a bunch of new characters that I was going to have to write into the books. So I limited that to 2. So basically there was only 2 new characters that I was going to have to come up with. So those are particularly possible options that you can have on that. You can also do a whole section of pledges that are limited time. So basically these are like for the people who are first pledgers. So let's say you have, like the first pledge one I have, it's 2 ebooks, right? But you could do like, you could have a time limit one. Say, okay, this is, for everybody who pledges in the first week will get 3 ebooks instead of 2. And that will give them, a more incentive to get going with it. So that's an option. After this, the rewards ones, I'm just gonna go on to the next one. You can go back to each of these sections. So until you actually publish your campaign, you can edit all of these. So and here they have examples of publishing rewards. So you can click on this and they'll give you examples. They'll show you like possible things that you can do with that. So I'm going to click on it. Now this, I haven't gotten to this point yet. So basically, you're going to write about what's your story, who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, what you're offering, basically, and also it says here, tell them about the project and what the rewards would look like. So get a little bit more in depth into what people can expect from the rewards. And then they also have risk and challenges. Now this, you can basically talk about things that you need to overcome to complete it. Obviously for me, I need to write the 3rd book. I need to write the 3rd book. I need to get it edited and ready to go. So that's something that I will have to do. So I would put that down as my risk and challenges. Moving on. So here, like I said, I did talk about a little bit about, you could talk about yourself and your story, but here you can also, you have your profile. You can create a URL for your particular project. If you have any collaborators, you're going to put it here. Your demographics. I'm not really sure on this, what this is. Let's click on this because I have not seen this. So I guess this is just for Kickstarter purposes, so they can find out a little bit more about you and what you. And then the next one, which I'm gonna skip that one. That talks about your payments. So you're gonna set up your account. You're gonna have to put in your check information and stuff like that, so that when the money comes in, they can send it to you. It's got a little bit more about how much percentage they take of your pledges. So obviously they're going to take some. You're not going to get the full amount. Kickstarter gets paid also, so because they're offering this to you. So I'm not sure what the percentage is, but so let's say you ask for $1,000 and you get $1,000 in pledges, you're going to actually get like, I don't know, $940. So you're not going to get your full amount. So you might want to factor that into your pledge total. Ask for a little bit more than what you need, so you can also use that money to pay for that pledge. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions about Kickstarter and campaigns, I will actually do another video later when I'm going to get ready to publish this. So I'm going to walk you through the whole setup, go all through my pledges, show you what the whole thing is going to look like. Hopefully I will have that, in a couple weeks. But in the meantime, if you have any further questions for me, I have done 2 other Kickstarter campaigns for my previous books. If you want to talk about that and how I ran those and what I asked for, feel free to hit the comments down below. And as always, please like and follow and click on the notification bell so you can be updated by any time I make a new video. Until next time, have a wonderful day.